Okay, hi everybody. I just want to kind of go over a couple of problems because we got kicked out and we had all those issues. So I'm going to redo one of the problems we did in class and then talk about two new ones. So hopefully that helps you a little bit with your homework or just kind of in general understanding what we're doing. Remember, tomorrow we're going to have day 2, hopefully, fingers crossed right now, that it's not going to do anything crazy like it did today. So this is one that we did in class. It's determine whether each pair of lines is parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Remember that parallel is the same slope and perpendicular is opposite reciprocal. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is figure out the slopes, right? That's the only way that I can tell if they're parallel or perpendicular. And if they're neither of those things, then it's neither. Okay, that makes sense. So I need to figure out the slope of this linear equation. So 2y equals 4x minus 10. And then I am also going to find the slope of this 2x plus y equals 3. Okay, so let's focus on this one first. I'm going to divide everything by 2 because I want to get y by itself. That's pew pew, that goes away. Y equals, now 4 over 2. Remember that that's just going to simplify. I don't want to do 4 divided by 2 just because it's going to make it a little more difficult when I figure out the slopes. I just want to simplify. 4 over 2 can be reduced by dividing the top and the bottom by 2 into 2 over 1x minus 10 divided by 2, which is 5. Okay, now I know the slope of this one is 2 over 1. I need to now change my color. I need to get y by itself, right? This is one of those standard form ones, and it's a little bit more tricky than the first one, but nothing crazy. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides, because I want to get y by itself, and I can't touch that y until I get rid of the 2x. Pew, pew, that goes away. I'm left with y equals negative 2x plus 3. Oh, awesome. That's in that y equals mx plus b form. Both of them are. So I know what the slope of this one is. I know the slope of this is a negative 2, and I'm going to change it to a negative 2 over 1. Remember, any whole number can be written over 1. And that will tell you what it is as a fraction. So this slope of this second line is a negative 2 over 1. So I'm going to compare my two slopes. If they are parallel, they're the exact same. Well, these two slopes are not the exact same because this one is a positive and this one's a negative. So I know it can't be parallel. Boom, cross that out. Perpendicular. Perpendicular means they're opposite. Well, is one positive and one negative? Yep. Are they reciprocals, meaning one of the fractions is flipped upside down? So one of these fractions would have to be 1 over 2 for it to be a reciprocal. So no, it's not opposite reciprocal, and it has to be both opposite and reciprocal. So these lines are neither. Okay, let's go to this one. We have, what is the equation in slope-intercept form for the line that passes through 4, 1 and is parallel to 3x plus y equals 3? Now the first thing I notice is I need to write something that's parallel. Parallel is same slope. Okay, well, don't we think that we should probably figure out what the slope of this line is in order for me to figure out what a parallel slope would be? I hope so. That's the first thing you should do. Make sure that we know the slope of the given linear equation. Okay, cool. I can do that. We just did that, right? We just did that with our other ones. We are 3x plus y equals 3. Solve it for y. Solve it for y. I need to get y by itself, but I can't touch that until I get rid of the 3x, so I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. I'm left with y equals negative 3x plus 3. Awesome. The slope of this line we know is a negative 3. I need a parallel line. So my slope for this new line I'm going to write is negative 3. Awesome. I love that. I absolutely love it. Now, what's my next step? My next step is to use this point right here, and my slope, and I know Mrs. Durbin taught you a really great thing called point slope form that's going to easily put it in, help us out here. Okay, so point slope form, remember that's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. That's point slope form. Okay, cool. Let me change my pen color again because I know that this is x1 and I know this is y1. Awesome, and I know my slope. My slope has to be -3 because it's parallel to this other thing that we solved. All right, I know everything I need to know, right? Y minus 1, I'm just substituting in those numbers. Remember, keep the y with the y. Don't mistake it and put a 4 there. And then we have m, that's actually a -3, x minus our x coordinate. Okay, now, Mrs. Durbin was talking about cleaning up, and that was mostly to like make sure that we had, you know, if it was like minus a -4 and all that, we would change it to what it needed to be. Now, we're going to actually solve this problem for y. I want to get y by itself. Let me change my color again. I want to get y by itself. Okay. That's cool. I know how to do that. You know how to do that. Don't get freaked out. I've got all kinds of colors about to happen. Okay, first thing I want to do that distributed property, right? Do that distributed property. I can do that. -3 times x is a -3x. And then a -3 times a -4, that's plus 12. That's a bad 12. That's plus 12. Equals y minus 1. Okay, now I need to get y by itself. What am I going to do? I want to add 1 to both sides. Add 1 to both sides. Because -1 plus 1, that's 0. Pew, pew, that goes away. I'm left with y equals. Now, this 1, I can only add that 1 to my constant. Nothing with a variable. Because -3x and 1, they are not like terms. So I can't do anything with the -3x. But I can do 12 plus 1, which is going to be 13. Hey, looky there. Look what we just did. We wrote an equation using this slope, using this linear equation, and found this slope, used this point, and now we have a completely different line that is parallel to this line. That's incredible. That's incredible. If I... Applause. Round of applause. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right, now this one is going to be a perpendicular line. Okay, basically the same type of thing, but now it's a perpendicular line. Okay, perpendicular. This is not very, I'm not writing very good today. It's opposite, and it's a reciprocal. Look at that. Look at that. Real cool. Okay, you know what I'm writing on here, right? Reciprocal. Opposite reciprocal. Okay, well, I probably need to figure out the slope of this line to figure out what its opposite reciprocal is, right? So 4x plus 4y equals 8. All right, let me change my pen color. I need to get y by itself, but I can't do anything with that y until I get rid of the 4x. All right, so 4x, subtract 4x from both sides. All right, pew, pew, that goes away. I'm left with 4y equals -4x plus 8. Now, that looks like a -yx, but this is a 4. There we go. Okay, now, next thing. I'm going to divide, and I'm going to change my color. Sir Wolf was talking about using lots of colors. I agree. Divide everything by 4 because I want to get y by itself, right? All right. That goes away. Pew, pew. I'm left with y equals. Now, -4 divided by 4. That is going to be a -1 over 1x plus 8 divided by 4, which is 2. Okay, cool. My slope here is a -1 over 1. I'm okay with that. Now, I need to write a line that is perpendicular, which means it's opposite and it's a reciprocal. Okay, reciprocal. So opposite, this one's negative, so that means this one has to be positive over here. Okay, cool. Now, reciprocal, flip that 1 over 1 upside down, and it's still 1 over 1. That's just how it works with ones. Okay, that's the only number that this is actually going to work with. So here is my new slope. Here's the slope I'm going to use. I'm going to use, again, my y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. I'm going to use my, x minus x1. Okay, I'm going to use my point slope formula. Let me change my colors again. I know that that's x1. I know that's y1. All right, I've got everything I need to know, and my m is a positive 1 over 1. Awesome. I got everything I need to know. Y minus y1, which is 2, equals my slope, or my m, which is 1 over 1, times x minus my x1, which is 2. All right, awesome. Let's use our distributive property. Distribute that onto everything. 1 times x. All right, that's 1x. 1 times negative 2. Okay, that's negative 2. Awesome. Y minus 2. Look at that. That's an awful. This is glitching out on me. Hold on. I need to erase.